Hello and welcome. This is episode 5 of Cryptenomics, and today we will be speaking about our top coin picks that we're looking at today. Some coins that are catching attention, some coins that maybe we're a bit frustrated with, and sort of an unbiased review of these coins that are just starting to get some talk, and maybe many of you haven't heard of them. We'll be talking about PIRl, PART, PIVX, BAT, and Scicoin. Let's start with PIRl, something we've been looking into. I know a lot of very experienced people in the industry that I speak with are interested in PIRl. Their hash rate has been going up. So let's talk about what PIRl is and maybe some of the fundamentals. PIRl is the first really Ethash. It's basically an Ethereum fork, but now they also have a masternode system in there. So that's like their big
claim to fame.
Their big marketing campaign around it. But besides that, I know that the people that I work with in the industry, I'm part of. I definitely have some friends that we speculate a lot on coins with. Julien Dubois, a French guy, is the founder of PIRl. While he doesn't have the hugest name in crypto, he does have a very extensive business background. He's right on LinkedIn. He's on the internet, so he is public. They don't have some Anon team or Ryan Gosling marketing guy. And, you can go right on their Discord and interact with him and the team directly. Their community is dedicated and growing. And they're small. I mean, right now they have around 6.5 million market cap, which is very small, has a lot of opportunity for growth. I think their circulating supply is around 12 million right now. And their masternode functionality is live. So they're definitely meeting deadlines. Any obstacles that they're hitting in their product roadmap, they're very open with on their Twitter. If you look at their Twitter, they're extremely active and pretty open about any obstacles they're hitting or things that are easier. So one thing that they did on time, which was great. Actually, no, there was some delay, but it ends up working out well, is their masternode. Right now, one masternode is paying around, it fluctuates based on how many masternodes exist. They're coming in or going away. One masternode right now is paying around 27 a day, between 20 and 30, but right now higher end 27.
Is that in PIRl?
In PIRl, yeah. So they're paying out around 27 PIRl a day. And here, let me bring up CoinMarketCap here.
PIRl is currently trading for around 50 cents.
50 cents, so that's not bad. You're getting, $10 a day about.
I don't know if you said this, but PIRl, you need 20,000 PIRl for a masternode, that's correct?
Yeah, so 20,000 PIRl is the requirement for a masternode. And, a masternode is different than a regular node, so it's a bit more of a technical headache to set up a masternode because a masternode is accepting incoming transactions and relaying transactions.
Yeah.
So I know that it's a bigger code base to run a masternode versus a regular proof-of-stake node.
Yeah, there's definitely some config necessary. And it's not just out of the box.
Users can decide for themselves as they look into PIRl more, but one thing to keep in mind with these masternodes is that you really do have to believe in the coin because you are locking in your coins. Obviously, you can, decompile, whatever you want to call it. You can get rid of that masternode and sell your coins, but it's still a process, and you don't want to heavily invest that much if you don't believe in it.
Sure, yeah. I mean, this 20,000 PIRl at 50 cents a coin is, $10,000 masternode, so that's a chunk.
Yeah. And if you look, there's various websites where you can check hash rate and difficulty over time on a mining network. That's one of the things that I like to look at with these small cap coins, because if a coin has a $6 million market cap, I mean, I can tell you the volume. I'll bring it up. Right now, the 24-hour volume is around $23,000. That's not much to base anything off of. Mm-hmm. $6 million market cap, not much to base it off of. But what you can base it off of is, are miners interested? Because miners are generally a bit more technical in the industry than just your average hodler or investor. So if you do look at their difficulty over time, it's definitely increasing. There's definitely a lot of hash rate for a coin of that size, which makes me think that, it's a prereq for serious investor attention.
Sure. And another resource we found that's helpful is masternodes.pro, which kind of gives you an easy dashboard to kind of analyze and compare different masternode coins. If that's something you're looking to invest in, definitely worth checking out.
Is PIRl on masternodes.pro? Let me see.
It may not.
Sometimes they take away coins.
Yeah, PIRl is not on masternodes.pro.
It used to be.
So not the most relevant for this particular coin, but
no, it is a good one.
It is a good one, yeah.
There's also cryptocoinsinfo.com. It's cryptocoinsinfo.com, where you can see a 24-hour and 1 month difficulty over time. So if you do look at PIRLs on CryptoCoinsInfo, you can see that the difficulty changes, but overall it's progressing upwards, which is nice. A lot of serious investors that I know who really like hit it big in crypto, what they do, and this is really helpful, I think, for a lot of people who are looking to invest in crypto is, there are different things to look at, and there's a different mentality than stocks and equities. With equities, you look at, how much did they IPO for? What's their revenue? What's the price per earnings share? What's the dividend that they're paying? And many other things. With crypto, you could call it crypto economics. There's some different fundamentals to look at. You're not looking at PE ratios. You're looking at, okay, what's the hash rate? Are miners interested? Which exchanges is it on? Is the team? Is the Discord engaged? Those are real things. Some of them sound silly, but it's very real.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so a lot of guys who hit it big, the big money, is in speculative mining, right? So like you want to follow the whole life cycle of a coin, because even before PIRl hit Cryptopia, you were able to mine it, and you were able to join their Discord and see if this is valuable. You don't have to know that a coin is worth it just because it's on an exchange. So the guys that I know really follow a coin's full life cycle. They actually, start mining a coin, hoping it hits an exchange. Generally, my buddies and I, there's some good picks happening, so generally that coin does hit an exchange. Now it's worth a value, and you started mining it, then it hits a bigger exchange, and it goes, and people are getting in like way later than the electrical cost you were paying to mine.
So you're getting way ahead of the curve on that. So where are you looking for that news? Where you?
So for example, you're not going to find that on CoinMarketCap.com. I definitely like looking at Masternodes.pro. I look at CryptoCoinsInfo.com, and then honestly, it takes a lot of time, and that's why there's a lot of people who try to be friends in the industry, and it's good to have partners in the industry because it just comes down to parsing through info. So you go on BitcoinTalk.org, you look at the announcement threads, and you just scan, and a lot of it is a waste of your time. But if you have 5, 10, 15, 20 friends, you want it to be a close knit that you can share info with all day, and you can parse through info together. I think that's really helpful.
Sure, makes sense.
As far as their development goes, they're still early. I know you were looking into their wallet.
So their Linux wallet is released, I believe, but their Windows and Mac OS wallets are still in development.
Okay.
So not the easiest for most people to store their coins on their own right now, but that's definitely coming. And we'll see how that progresses. Right now, I guess you can store it on an exchange. It's not the purists will say that that's a horrible practice, but it's not the end of the world if you're non-technical and you're looking to kind of get your feet wet.
Yeah, and the beauty about PIRl too is that it is looking to compete with Ethereum. So, there's people already interested in releasing dApps on PIRl, and as those go, hopefully the overall market cap of PIRl increases, the overall interest, and hopefully it's a good, fun investment for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I think dApps will definitely, drive a lot of these coins, and where developers are putting their time and releasing their apps will kind of pave the way for what coins are going to succeed and kind of break away from the rest.
No, for sure. Yeah, dApps is what this is all about. I mean, it's about, if you want to decentralize the internet, if you want to decentralize industries, the simplest way to word that is by decentralizing applications.
Yep.
And yeah, that's pretty much my view on PIRl. I've been watching it for a while. I've been holding it for a while personally. I'll be open about that. And I know that there's a lot of veterans very interested, and yeah, they've been growing. So I think it's good to get in early. You don't necessarily always want to wait until a coin is being spoken about on CoinDesk and all over these Facebook groups and hits a $500 million or $1 billion plus blockchain value.
Yeah, definitely.
Get in under 10 mil. Like that could be crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. The next coin that I think we could chat about is Particle. I like Part a lot.
Yeah, you got me into Part, and I think that you mentioned it to me one evening. I decided to scoop a little bit of it, and I think within a few hours, it popped
we got
off
lucky on
like
that
50%. Yeah, one of the best, immediate
And it's been staying there. I mean, if you look back a couple months ago, it was at around 75,000 Satoshi, I think. Now it's probably around, I don't know, 120, I'm going to guess. Let me take a look. So yeah, right now it's at 137,000. So it's staying stable, especially considering this bear market that we're in.
Yeah.
And it's also rare. I mean, their circulating supply is 8.9 million coins, which is not a lot. And their market cap is almost at 100 million. It's at around 85 million right now. So the fundamentals look strong. The fundamentals are going up from an economic point of view. From a technical point of view, they're working on quite a lot.
Yeah, they've got a lot going on.
They talk a big game, but they've been backing it up with staying in touch with the community and hitting some development points, even if they're still sort of in testnet features or if they're not quite in production.
Yeah,
basically,
they've got a lot on their roadmap.
Yeah,
and saying that they're talking a big game sounds a bit negative. I do believe that they're gonna follow through on a lot of this, but right now, if you look at their roadmap and their website, they're talking about it doing a ton, and in terms of what's tangible and what progress they've made, it's only been a little.
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about some things let's talk about like what they're aiming to be. They basically want to be a Bitcoin-based decentralized app marketplace.
Yeah.
So instead of being on some other chain like Ethereum, they're actually saying that you can use Bitcoin and you could take advantage of their scalability as well as their just efficiency of a chain. Now, obviously, the decentralized apps on Ethereum can be coded and developed in more sophisticated ways. There's more to it. You know what I mean? It's a much higher level language, Solidity. But with that, and I'm sure you can talk about this even more than me, as you code more, it leaves more room for errors and bugs and
tremendous
danger.
More room for error and issues and ways that things can go wrong. So trying to keep things simple is definitely a good practice, generally speaking, when you're writing software. But yeah, they one of the things that they mentioned was that their marketplace is cryptocurrency agnostic, so you can use any currency on their marketplace. And they claim to do this through atomic swaps, which is something we talked about briefly last week with Lightning Network. And atomic swaps basically means that you can take your Litecoin and convert it to Bitcoin. And
cross-chain without going through like an exchange or Shapeshift or something.
Intermediary that's helping you. You're going straight from one chain to the other. And they're claiming that their marketplace will function where you can send any currency in, and through atomic swaps they will convert it into particle. They kind of vaguely allude to some third-party integrations which would make this possible. Obviously, there's some missing pieces. They'll need to know exchange rates, and there's a lot that goes into production ready atomic swaps. Lightning Network has only accomplished that as a proof of concept, and a lot of those parameters were fixed and static, and it needs a lot more dynamic data in order for it to be truly production ready. So
the test was between Litecoin and Bitcoin, right? Yeah.
So it's all great stuff. That will be amazing. If they really pull through with a decentralized marketplace that allows users to buy and sell goods
with any coin.
Any coin, yeah.
And the beauty is that it really does incentivize people to hold Particle, because going a step further, their big thing is called Particle Desktop. That's what they're calling it, but it's really their central app marketplace that they want to be. So they're already working on like a decentralized voting app, encrypted messaging app, a scroll service. But even as people start to deploy other dApps onto the marketplace, and then as people send Dogecoin or Litecoin or PIRl or whatever coin to pay for dApps on the marketplace, and then they do that atomic swap. The real reason they would do that atomic swap and convert coins into Particle is if they need to pay fees on the network and they need to sort of pay fees internally to keep the network going.
Yeah.
But the beauty is that as more dApps are deployed, then all the proof of stake stakers are going to be getting paid out more as the marketplace grows, which is cool.
Yeah.
And that's proof of stake. It's not masternodes, which is fine. But definitely incentivizes people not only to hold, but also deploy dApps on the marketplace because it directly affects them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're working on different, types of ways you can send transactions. So public anonymous and then also blind, they call it, and they're using, it looks like, Monero's type of CT ring signature logic for that.
Yeah.
Once again, everything that we're speaking about right now is still, they're really developing it.
Yeah. So that's the big, caveat here with PIRl is that, they have grand aspirations, and it'll be a matter of whether or not they can pull it off.
Yeah, and I hope they do, because I would love to see dApps on the Bitcoin blockchain. I think that's how it should be. And it's interesting.
Still
it's interesting, Vitalik initially wanted to build Ethereum as part of the Mastercoin protocol, actually. He didn't want to make like Ethereum. That wasn't his aspiration. He wanted to make an adaptation layer on top of it, of some other chain. Mastercoin said no. Then I believe that they went to Bitcoin Core, and they also told Vitalik no. And then they made Ethereum. And a lot of people are saying, oh, I wish Bitcoin said yes, because now all these Ethereum applications would be deployed on the Bitcoin chain. But I think it's good that Bitcoin's taking it slow, because now you look at all these ICO scams, and you look at all these issues and congestions on the network, screw it. Let Ethereum be the test net for that, and Bitcoin be the real production environment. Because honestly, if all these apps and ICOs and stuff was on the Bitcoin chain right now, there would be more SEC regulation coming in, and it would ultimately get Bitcoin, even more Bitcoin, in the hands of scammers for them to dump Bitcoin instead of dumping Ethereum.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective, viewing Bitcoin as the production, Ethereum as a testnet.
It's not a great way to look at it, but just it's an easy way to explain it. That's all.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's 100% accurate, but if you look at it in the sense that Bitcoin is, and Bitcoin Core is, they treat the.
It shows that they had good foresight. That's all.
They're treating it as a production ready environment, and Ethereum maybe is a bit more willing to kind of experiment with things that may not work. 100%.
It's sort of like how Litecoin is. If you think about it, Litecoin is sort of like the baby version of Bitcoin, right? Litecoin had SegWit first.
Yeah, I think that's a much better
Litecoin
true analogy. But the premise does hold both ways, I think.
Yeah, so I think it's good that PIRl is working with Bitcoin and trying to scale on that chain, but they're not going super fast, and they're not trying to deploy these full Turing complete kind of languages immediately on something like Bitcoin that is supposed to be very raw and minimal.
Yeah, the ramifications of something going wrong on Bitcoin, to be honest, are probably far worse globally to the whole community than something going wrong on Ethereum. So I'd say that it's a good thing that the Bitcoin core developers are wary and a bit more cautious.
Yeah, and for PIRl, I believe that they did finish the back to the three types of transactions: public transactions, anonymous, and blind. I believe that they actually did finish them internally, but they're also integrating with like Ledger's wallet and different like hardware wallets. And just for those, the blind and anon is not complete yet. So it's just something people keep in mind. We'll see how they progress with that.
And another part of part that we didn't discuss was their escrow. How they protect buyers and sellers.
Yeah. And no fee escrow, I believe, right?
I didn't see that, but it could be.
I heard there was no fees. So.
Interesting. But their escrow method is called MAD, which is mutually assured destruction. Basically, that's
a great name.
It is a great name. It's accurate. So it guarantees that there's trust in that transaction when you're buying on a marketplace from a private seller. This MAD escrow basically holds funds in a multi-sig wallet, and there's a third party who kind of verifies that the deal is kosher, and then everyone gets paid. But the premise is actually that the seller has to also put up funds the same way the buyer does, so that I guess if things go hairy, they have some risk in the transaction as well.
Gotcha.
So it
I've heard of MAD.
Disincentivizes sellers being fraudulent.
Yeah, I've heard of MAD before. It looks good.
Yeah.
Cool. See, that's PIRl. That's part. When we're going very quick on these, in future videos we can go much more in depth, and we can look at GitHub and different dynamics. But I think it's just a good intro for people. Next is PIVX. We've spoken about it in our first video.
Yeah.
But PIVX is my favorite hold right now.
Yeah, I'd say that it's definitely top 3 for sure. PIVX is a good one. I think that it's going to go places as a currency payment coin.
Yeah, first off, you can't stop their marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every day, for every holiday, for every day, they have different ads. They must have some sort of
they have an amazing
design and front-end team.
marketing team. Yeah, They're doing good work.
So that's good. And, I believe you had an issue with their wallet at one time.
I did, and it's not totally resolved yet.
Which isn't good, but they're at least responsive to what
so their support has been great. I've spent hours, and I mean hours, with their support guys trying to work through this issue, and they've escalated it to their developers, and they're very, eager to help and willing to help. It's not great that the issue kind of persists, and basically that's just that I'm staking my PIVX, and when ZPIV was released...
ZPIV is the private version.
Their Zero Coin protocol. When that was released, there was some weirdness in upgrading the wallet where some of my PIVX automatically got minted into ZPIV, and now I can't spend those ZPIV. Right. So I get an error when I try and do that. It's not a tremendous amount of my PIVX, and they've assured me that it's still there and that they're working on a solution for this. But
and so to back up real quick, PIVX is the first implementation of the Zero Coin protocol.
For proof of stake.
Proof of stake and masternode functionality. Yeah. I believe their masternode is 10,000 coins for a masternode.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Which is pretty hefty. I mean, right now, PIVX is going for almost $4.
Yeah.
Like $380 or something.
Yeah. So that's like a $40,000 masternode.
Yeah, and I like PIVX. They have a 55 million coin circulating supply, which is a good amount, but not crazy.
Yeah.
If you look at coins like Verge, they have way more than that, and they pumped. But no, PIVX has a good team, honest team. Their support is there. They have a market cap in the 200 millions right now, which is pretty substantial, and it's been consistent. If you look on CoinMarketCap at their chart, you'll see that it's been low, and then right when it popped the first time, like in last spring, when altcoins really popped in like May, it shot up. Obviously, it went back down a little bit, but it stayed pretty consistent past there. You could definitely see the medium at which it stayed within.
Yeah, definitely.
And I forget the exact amount that their masternode pays out. I can look at that and I can drop it in a comment, but I know that it pays out pretty well. Let's see if it's on...
It is on masternodes.pro.
What are they citing it as?
Annual ROI is, I think it's at 6%, 5.95%. Let me see. Paying out like just shy of $200 a month.
All right. It's something. I mean, you are doing a 40 grand investment.
Yeah.
But it's something, and if you believe in it, obviously, hopefully it goes up. So while you are staking those right now, there was a time where PIVX hit like $13, $14.
Yeah.
It could easily go back to 13, 14 US dollars. And, in that case, you're looking at a 10x of the number you just said.
Sure.
So... PIVX, big hold for me.
Yeah, I think PIVX is a good one, going places.
Yeah, definitely holding that, especially as privacy coins keep getting more attention.
Yeah.
From a darknet point of view, but even just from a global perspective, as these dApps get bigger, people care more about the privacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so another coin that's been getting a lot of attention, I guess, that maybe people might be more familiar with is BAT. Crappy name, good team. Crappy name, good team. Basic attention token. Doesn't have the greatest ring to it. But it's a cool idea, and I think that there's real practicality. I've seen YouTubers. There's a big YouTuber. His name is Philip DeFranco. I don't really watch him, but I know that he has millions of viewers, and he does news on YouTube, and he's like advocating BAT now, and so are other YouTubers.
That's awesome.
Which shows, and these are not techie crypto guys. These are just YouTubers with publicity now saying, hey guys, let's try out BAT. Download Brave. They actually said that in his video.
So BAT is an ERC20 token, right?
Yes. And basically BAT is created by, what was his name? JavaScript?
Yeah, Brendan Eich, who is one of the creators of JavaScript and former CEO of Mozilla.
Yeah, so that's pretty
I mean, I don't
serious stuff. I don't know exactly
agree with all of his personal choices in politics, but he definitely has some serious track record as a tech guy, as a CEO for a major tech company, and we've talked about this before. I've heard mixed reviews as to his real motivations in the crypto world and whether or not BAT is really just a means of
pumping Brave browser,
pumping his new browser, because
so why don't we explain that real quick? What is Brave and what is BAT?
Yeah, so Brave Technologies is like the organization behind all of this. So they created the Brave browser, which is available, and there's an iOS version,
an internet browser.
Yeah, there's an internet browser. It's a desktop version, and it's actually quite a good web browser. But they also have this token.
Real quick, actually, I think it's a great web browser. I've been using it lately. Web pages load faster on Brave. I think it's because they cut out all the crap that's involved when loading a web page.
A lot leaner. There's a lot of built-in ad block, so I'm sure that they are. When you load a web page, especially any random web page, especially news publication somewhere with a lot of ads, there's a lot going on. There's a lot being loaded in the background. So Brave is definitely doing a lot to kind of mitigate how much work the browser has to do when it loads a web page, and kind of just load the crucial content, what you really want to see, and cut out all that crap. So I agree, pages definitely load faster. Their ad block is pretty good. Not perfect, but definitely see a lot less ads. But something like running AdBlock Pro on Firefox is probably still better, in my opinion. That's what I use, but yeah, definitely a quality web browser. So getting back to what I was saying, I have heard that there's the possibility that this really is just, his main goal is really just getting back into a new browser and making his browser, the best new thing in web browsers. And Brave is just a means to kind of pump that up.
That isn't
bad. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. But I do think that there's a lot of utility in that, and the token has a real purpose and a real value. And we can kind of talk a bit more about what that is and how that kind of works.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very practical. So within the Brave browser, just like in any browser with Chrome or Firefox, there's settings. Right? Yeah. So in the Brave browser, you go to settings, and you can actually deposit BAT tokens onto the browser. So now let's say you deposit $100 worth of BAT tokens onto your browser. And we're back. Sorry, our camera around the 30-minute mark doesn't get happy with us sometimes. So as I was saying, right, Brave browser, there's settings. You go in and you could deposit around $100, let's say a BAT or 200, whatever you want. Now, one downside right off the bat, I will say, to be totally clear, is that apparently right now you cannot withdraw BAT out of the browser.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you can deposit BAT, but you cannot apparently withdraw it out and go to Bittrex and sell.
Interesting.
Something that they're going to work
like
on.
A pretty significant gap.
It's definitely a gap, but I also think that they're trying to really make real utility where you want to contribute to content creators. So that's the whole point. So you have the settings, you deposit your BAT, and now you can actually link to different YouTube channels, and different YouTubers can also have this option to receive BAT payment. And it doesn't have to be just YouTubers. It could be anybody that's synced up to the Brave browser with you. And you can actually set up monthly payments or just send payments like, I want to send them 2 BAT a month or 5 BAT a month or 10 BAT a month. It's almost like a Patreon, but decentralized. And then also from watching ads, I believe you as the viewer can get paid out as well.
Yeah, so there's a few components to it. The advertisers are paying in BAT to have their ads shown, and then you, as the viewer of the ads, are getting paid out, from watching the ad, and then you're also paying out the content creators that you support.
Right, yeah.
So there's a few ways that the money travels through different parties on the Brave network, the BAT network.
Right. Yeah. And let's see, real quick, price action wise, looking at CoinMarketCap right now,
I think it's down.
It's down, but pretty consistent. In terms of US dollar, it's exactly where it was even in last August. Bitcoin price, not too bad either, but it's definitely down. If you're looking at from its not all-time high, but if you look in like last October, where it was at a modest price, it's down about 50% from 5,500 Satoshi to now it's at around 2,800 Satoshi. Also, this coin, as an investor, you can decide if you think this will increase or not. There's a billion circulating supply of BAT, with a 1.5 billion total supply. So it is almost at its total supply, but there's a lot of BAT, which is why it's at 20 cents right now. But the market cap is 192 million. If you wanted to be realistic and you think it could hit a $1, $2, or $5 billion market cap, then there's no reason that, it can't be, I would say, 85 cents to $1.20.
Sure.
And yeah, so I think that's interesting. Price action wise, I'm not too sure, but I think it's worth keeping an eye on it because I think it can genuinely help push the concept of crypto in a unique way to the mainstream, rather than just trying to sell people on the philosophy of privacy and anonymous. And there's not really a philosophy behind that. It's pretty straightforward that even the average person can understand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's not anything too crazy or complicated. I do think that there are a few tokens, coins going after this kind of segment, content creators, rewarding content creators.
Steam in a way.
Yeah, Steam in a way is doing the same thing. I think it's a bit more the written word, where this is definitely, I think, more universal. I think it can apply certainly to bloggers and journalists, but it also applies to YouTubers and even filmmakers, anyone, photographers. I think there's a lot more applications of how BAT can be in the Brave browser kind of interact to pay out those content creators, where Steam is slightly more limited in that it all happens within its own, the Steemit website. But yeah, I think BAT's great. They've got a lot of weight behind them with Brendan Eich, and I think they're going to go places. I just don't know if it's the true winner in that rewarding content creators kind of game that's happening right now.
Yeah, and from a Moon Lambo perspective, I'm not sure if it's the best coin, but I think it'll at least be a consistent coin to help diverse your portfolio.
Sure.
All right. And now let's quickly just go through Siacoin. A lot of controversy about it. I'm not a huge fan of it. A lot of people are huge fans. And I think they fucked up their marketing a while ago.
I think they killed their marketing a while ago. And, when your CEO or you're the head of guy of your, company organization comes out and says that, we have this token, but we don't really care about what the price of the token is. It's not the point.
This is an investment space.
There's some level of that is true. The price shouldn't be everything, especially when you're creating a token that has as much utility as Siacoin potentially does. But the reality of the world is that people care about the price. If you go around saying that you don't care about the price, it doesn't give people a whole lot of faith in you as, the guy leading this charge.
Yeah, it's a bit different, but imagine if, Facebook was telling all of its shareholders, guys, we just want to build the best Facebook product.
Yeah, if so we're
gonna start getting away with advertising.
Share price. Yeah, we're just gonna try and build the most quality.
It wouldn't fly well.
User centric. Yeah, nobody would be about that. And even given the control he has over Facebook, I'm sure that there would be a coup against him.
Yeah, and people are telling him to step down as chairman, but that's a whole other conversation. Maybe he'll integrate that on Facebook. I don't know.
I don't know. Facebook seems pretty.
They'll make their own little Facebook coin thing. All right, Siacoin. So they're going after the file storage industry. That's their thing. They're going to decentralize file storage, so it's going to be cheaper and easier, they claim, to upload all your pictures and videos because we're spreading out that data throughout the world through all these nodes. I initially did invest in Siacoin.
I did as well.
I believe you did too. It had an initial pump and then a very long dump, which is not atypical. It's very normal in this industry, and you have to be ready for that. But I've learned a lot, too, from investing in file storage coins and speaking with people in the file storage industry as it is now, like Dropbox type of industries.
Yeah, Dropbox is set to be profitable this year. Their gross margins have been significantly increasing over the past couple of years. People who are saying that, centralize the big boys in, file storage, AWS, Dropbox, Box.
I trust them, to be honest.
Well, trust is one component of it, but also, does it scale? Is it profitable? And I think it is.
It is.
I think that, I don't see any indication that it's not profitable. It seems to be a very, quality business to be in. Steve Jobs famously said to Drew Houston, the CEO of Dropbox, that he is a feature and not a product. And Apple was trying to buy Dropbox at the time, and Drew Houston said no. I mean, I can't imagine being the guy to say no to Steve Jobs trying to buy your company, but I think that really speaks to his belief in the industry, and I think he's now they've IPO'd this year, and they're on their way to profitability. So I think that speaks to...
And everyone I've spoken about, I hear that business is not a huge headache. I mean, there's a lot of upfront, capital required for server costs and all that stuff from a hardware perspective. But once you have it going, I hear that technically it's not crazy difficult. It's more about security.
Yeah, it's not rocket science by any means, but there's definitely a lot to it. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think that.
I guess what I've heard is that it's a good industry that works, and the companies aren't dying, and the people and me as a user, I don't really feel that I'm clearing out my pockets to pay to have my shit stored.
Yeah, no, I'm a Dropbox Pro subscriber. I think that it's a quality service for the product I'm getting. I'm happy to pay them. I've never had any issues. The real, I mean, as long as I've never had, it comes down to issues. As long as you don't have issues, then
and I just feel like adding a protocol layer to make these decentralized applications work and the blockchain and all of the consensus happening is just adding like so much unnecessary headache. And that's why, look, even years ago, I forget how long ago, 3-4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I was following Storage, STORG. That's another one, right? There's also Filecoin, which is one of the biggest ICOs to happen. And then there's Siacoin. And people initially invest in them because it makes sense in their head. But once you think about the practicality of it, the industry itself is already so practical, and there's just, I don't know. I think it's a silly endeavor. Yeah,
I agree. And so the one valid argument I think there is that the cost comes way down. When you look at the comparison of what the per gigabyte storage cost is on Dropbox, AWS S3 versus like Siacoin, for example, I saw some comparison. It is a lot cheaper.
It's true.
Now,
and that's if you're not mining.
Yeah, I don't know that I would actually be swayed to use decentralized technology. I kind of like having it centralized. I like having this, sizable entity who has, accountability on my data. And there's a lot that Siacoin does to kind of provide accountability on the data that is being stored on their network. But there's still, a lot of ways that can go wrong, in my opinion. And until the network is like really established and you have a lot of the redundancy that they're talking about, but I don't believe exists yet, it's always going to be a compromise relative to some of the more established solutions. I definitely agree with you overall.
And one milestone where they lost my confidence was when they released Obelisk, which was their ASIC miner. I think it was like last. Yeah, I think it was like last July or August they actually announced it.
Beginning of last summer.
Yeah, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna have these new ASIC miners coming out," and that was part of the reason of the hype and what caused a pump in their price from like 700 Satoshi to like maybe 1,000 or something.
The pre-sale sold out in like no time, and then they still have not delivered.
Yeah, and then they say, "Oh, we're gonna come out in like 12 months or something."
Yeah,
and then everyone dumped because they don't want to fucking hold.
So in recent news, actually, Bitmain released a new ASIC that specifically mines the Siacoin algorithm, and it's applicable to other coins that are use the same algorithm. But I think Siacoin is like the big one right now that's using it. And Siacoin, their response to this, because they kind of see it as an anti-competitive threat, they said that they actually have a soft fork ready that would basically disable and make those Bitmain. It would allow Obelisk to continue working, but Bitmain's ASIC would not be able to mine Siacoin. So that kind of, I think that's a dangerous, very dangerous precedent to start setting. If you start releasing soft forks that disable hardware, the threat of Bitmain being very anti-competitive is a real issue. They can launch an attack on your network if they control a significant amount of.
Yeah, and we've seen them kind of do that between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this has happened. It's a real concern, but I still think that a soft fork that just basically makes their hardware useless on your network is...
Yeah, Bitmain will not take that lightly. They'll try to maybe clog up your mempool and...
Yeah, Bitmain won't take it lightly, but also just the community. It sets a bad precedent. That's not something that we should be doing, in my opinion.
Right.
I agree that...
Or should Bitmain ask permission first before doing these things? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the algorithm isn't proprietary, so I don't think that Bitmain needed permission. I think that they were within their rights to do that. But I think the bigger issue is that Bitmain launching these attacks, these 51% like attacks, and trying to kind of commandeer mining power is wrong. And I don't have a solution. It's definitely a complex problem. But I think that's the real issue, and I think this Siacoin's response, I think, is the wrong way to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I think that was a good rundown of a few coins that people can look into and make their own decisions on. PIRl, we're optimistic about it, mostly because of the team and because of community engagement and because of the hash rate that we're seeing and that there's some serious miners on it. But downside is that they are very early, very high risk, a team that does need to prove themselves to an extent to the crypto world, and they have a very low market cap.
Yep.
But the things that they are releasing seem to be working pretty well, and I know people that are very engaged with that community and speak with Julien Dubois, and there seems to be some upside to it. So everyone can make their own decision, do their own research, but PIRl is something that's on my mind and something that I am open to say I'm holding right now.
Yep.
Particle, been around a little longer, much larger market cap, much bigger fish are getting invested into it. Downside, much bigger talk, which is the downside though.
Yeah. So I think that if Particle follows through with what they're talking about, and they start to release some of this functionality, and they catch up with what their roadmap, is claiming that they're going to do, there's no reason why they won't see some success. And their marketplace and their wallets are going to be integrated, they're saying too, with SegWit, Lightning Network, and other scaling proposals, which is very good that they're staying, agile and flexible. Yeah. So yeah, Particle, make your own decision. PIRl, make your own decision. PIVX, PIVX I have high hopes for. Yeah. They have raving fans. Yeah. Even more than PIRl. Fall into that category.
Yeah, even more than PIRl and Particle. Yeah. So, worth looking into if you're a privacy coin kind of guy and you want to try to find that next Dash coin that might get a lot of attention, it's worth checking it out.
And PIVX, the community engagement coming out of PIVX is huge. I know that I have a friend in Oregon, and I shot him a link about a PIVX meetup that was happening out in Oregon, and he actually went, and he said he met some great people. So PIVX, great community, great coin. I think that...
Downside to PIVX is that they are in a very competitive industry, and what they're doing is not super innovative.
No. They're the first proof of stake zero coin, but that's not that
It comes
huge.
Down to who cares about that.
Right, exactly. And soon they have an update coming out in the next few weeks that's going to allow staking of zero coins. So that's cool. They are doing some cool stuff, but it's very technical. Not groundbreaking. Yeah. But again, like you said, very competitive space. So they have their work cut out for them. I think they're doing a good job. But going up against Monero, Zcash, Bitcoin Private.
Dash.
Dash. There's definitely some big fierce competition out there. So they've got their work cut out for them. I think that that's a good coin though. Definitely hang on to that one.
Mm-hmm. And then there's BAT. In terms of downside is that price action, I'm questioning if it's going to moon. But upside is that they have a working browser that you can send BAT to and you can pay. It's already working. It's working.
Good product. One thing we didn't mention with that, and I don't know if this is purely speculation, but Coinbase has been teasing that they're going to add some ERC20 tokens, and BAT has been hinting that it's going to be us. So I think that if Coinbase adds BAT, we may see some Lambos.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And then Siacoin, if you're a file storage guy, they have a huge following. They also have raving fans, actually. And they have a big market cap. Real quick, their market cap is...
a lot of haters.
Yeah, 360-ish million market cap. That's no joke. But at the same time, I think I said my piece that I'm very skeptical on it and on their future. But
I agree.
But hey,
they're trading at 155 Satoshi.
But I've been wrong so many times that it's true. Everyone should do their own research.
We should do an episode about some of our biggest crypto mistakes.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. So yeah, in summary, I hope these few coins catch your interest. There's other coins that you would like us to dig into, or you want us to dig into these deeper. We can. We've been trying to keep our videos a little shorter, I guess, straight to the point. But there's no reason that we can't start digging into GitHub and really diving into one or two coins over the course of an hour.
Sure.
If people want that. So, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks guys. Let us know if you have any thoughts in the comments.
And we'll catch you next time.